Okay, so here we have some D-Log video captured in 24 frames per second. So it's a little choppy, but it'll be just fine for illustrating how D-Log works in this case. If we turn on some Lumetri color adjustments, not ideal. So I'm going to tweak those a little bit and I'll be right back and see what they look like. So here's the footage with some new settings. I increased the contrast, increased the saturation, and warmed it up just a little bit. And the color tone is neutral. This wasn't the greatest lighting of the day. In fact, it was quite cloudy, so wasn't high contrast to begin with. The contrast, I think, here might be boosted a little too much artificially, but I think it's a pretty good look. Here you see a shot of the clouds, and the area to the upper left where the sun is, you can see is overexposed. I did that intentionally because I was testing a technique that was mentioned on YouTube for shooting D-Log footage. The technique involves overexposing by 1 or 2 f-stops, and I suppose that's supposed to bring out the color and dynamic range that you need. And you can see on this side, away from the sun, the clouds look very dramatic and are not overexposed. If I turn on HDR in my Lumetri settings, the dramatic cloud effect is even more pronounced. D-Log isn't the easiest format to shoot in, but if you know what you're doing and you shoot correctly and you know how to correct for it in post, you get pretty good results. The other thing you might have noticed about this footage is that it's very noisy, and that's because when you shoot D-Log on the DJI Phantom 4 Pro or the Zenmuse X4S camera, it automatically pushes the ISO to 400, which, if you have any experience with that, you'll know is quite noisy when compared to ISO 100. But that's one of the compromises you make when you want to shoot D-Log, and if you want to preserve some of that dynamic range and color fidelity. And I have to admit that this isn't the best footage for showing preservation of dynamic range because I've blown out a lot of the highlights. So let me know if you've ever shot with D-Log and had a successful experience in post getting it to look good. Maybe you could share what settings you used or what tips you might have for other DJI users, and I look forward to hearing your comments. See you next time.